Eddie stared at the compass in his hand, its needle spinning wildly before settling, the crystal face pulsing with an unsteady, rhythmic light. It wasn't a constant glow, more like a nervous heartbeat, flashing in short, uneven bursts. He glanced over at Harper, who was walking beside him, her eyes glued to the tablet she held. Her long blonde hair fell across her face as she leaned in closer, a faint outline beginning to materialize on the screen. It was a map, but a map that shouldn't exist. It had appeared out of nowhere just seconds before, a digital ghost overlaying their current location. The lines on the map were alive, too. They shifted and writhed, redrawing streets and buildings that weren't there anymore, erasing familiar landmarks and replacing them with forgotten paths. Eddie could feel the compass in his palm react to every change. Each time a road on the map altered its course, the compass would glow brighter. A silent confirmation of the digital phantom's power. Harper tapped the screen, trying to zoom in, but the map resisted, its movements fluid and independent. She muttered under her breath, a mix of frustration and awe. This wasn't just a glitch, it felt intentional, like the map had a mind of its own. They were in the old district, a part of the city that had been largely abandoned after the redevelopment project a decade ago. Most people avoided it, saying it had a strange, empty feeling. But Harper's research into local legends and unexplained energy spikes had led them here. The compass, an old family heirloom of Eddie's, had never done anything like this before. It was just a brass antique he kept in his backpack, a good luck charm. But when they crossed the old city boundary, it had sprung to life, leading them to this exact spot where Harper's experimental geomapping software suddenly displayed this impossible chart. "It's not just a map," Harper said, her voice barely a whisper. She looked up from the tablet, her red glasses perched on her nose. "Look." She pointed to a street on the screen that was currently being erased and redrawn as a dense cluster of trees. Eddie looked up from the compass and saw the exact spot in reality. It was a crumbling brick wall, covered in ivy. There were no trees. "The map isn't showing us where to go," she continued, her voice trembling slightly. "It's showing us what used to be here. It's showing us what was erased." As she spoke, the compass pulsed with an intense, bright light, and a new section of the map flickered into existence. It showed a sprawling old manor house right where they were standing, a place that hadn't existed in city records for over a century. The faint signal on Harper's tablet began to stabilize, the lines of the ghostly manor locking into place. In that moment, Eddie understood. The compass wasn't a guide forward. It wasn't pointing to a destination. It was a key, unlocking a history that something, or someone, had tried to bury. It was a relic fighting against oblivion, revealing the secrets the world was desperate to forget. They were standing on haunted ground, not by ghosts of people, but by ghosts of places. The compass wasn't leading them to a treasure. It was leading them through time, showing them a world that had been overwritten. And as the map on Harper's tablet filled in more and more details of the forgotten landscape, a chilling realization washed over them. If these places were erased, what happened to the people who lived there? The compass in Eddie's hand felt heavier now, not just a tool, but a burden. It was a connection to a lost reality, and it had chosen them to be its witnesses. The air grew colder, and a strange silence fell over the abandoned street. The usual city hum was gone, replaced by a low thrum that seemed to emanate from the ground itself. Harper's tablet buzzed, and a single red dot appeared on the map, blinking at the center of the ghostly manor's foundation. "It was a beacon, Eddie," she said, her eyes wide. "There's something there." Or, something was there. The compass in Eddie's hand pulsed in perfect sync with the blinking red dot. They looked at each other, a silent agreement passing between them. They had to know what was erased. They had to know why. Tate. Eddie tightened his grip on the compass. Harper held her tablet like a shield. They took their first step onto the grounds of the spectral manor, leaving the world they knew behind and entering the memory of a place that shouldn't exist. The map was their only guide, the compass their only light. As they ventured into the heart of a forgotten history, the real mystery wasn't just what was erased, but who did the erasing, and whether they were still watching. The journey had just begun, and the path ahead was being drawn by the ghosts of the past.